I'm Vice Chairman of NASDAQ and President of the NASDAQ Entrepreneurial Center. Here today at the Entrepreneurial Center, we've got Matt Cain. Matt's the CEO of Couchbase. Matt, good to see you.
Bruce, great to be here. It's always so fun to spend time with the NASDAQ, company that's synonymous with job growth and innovation, and it's a real pleasure to have Couchbase associated with the company this morning.
Well, for those who don't know, tell us a little bit about Couchbase.
Yeah, so Couchbase is a company headquartered here in Silicon Valley. We were created in 2011, and we are a next-generation database company. Our mission is to be the data platform that revolutionizes digital innovation. And so specifically what we've built is something that we call an engagement database, which we'll spend more time talking about over the course of our time this morning.
That's great. Well, I know you're only coming up on your second year here, but you were recently named one of CRN's top 100 executives in IT. You were number 4. That's pretty impressive, Matt. So that's an honor. Tell us, how are things going for Couchbase, and how do you see it taking it to the next level if you've already gotten this recognition?
Yeah, it's a great honor. I was joking with some of our colleagues that number 4 leaves me just off the podium, so there's always room for improvement. But CRN is an organization that I've respected for a long, long time. And I'm certainly, honored to be recognized. But quite frankly, the way that I think about it is it's an honor bestowed on the company. Right. And we'll talk more about what we're doing from a technology perspective. But I think one of the things that CRN recognized in us is our ambitions to build whole solutions and whole offerings for our large enterprise customers. And we recently launched a new partner program that we call Partner Engage, and have really started to accelerate partnerships with companies like Red Hat and Rackspace and a data modeling company called Irwin, in addition to some of the larger providers like Amazon and Microsoft and Google. And so I think, not only are we innovating in the technology that we're bringing to market, but I think we're innovating in helping customers as they go down their journey of digital transformation.
So what are the new things are you guys also working on? I mean, I've heard Connect SB is something. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we've been very busy. We have a world-class engineering team, and they continue to innovate and solve some of the biggest data challenges that large enterprises face. Specifically, over the last couple weeks, we've had announcements in 3 major areas. Our core server product, we announced Couchbase 5.5. And that brought a lot of new capabilities to the marketplace in areas like security, making it easier for companies to move applications from legacy databases onto modern databases to enjoy the benefits of that. Continuing with advancements in our query technology, overall scale and performance. Our mobile product, we launched 2.0 with a lot of exciting enhancements, and really extends the database platform out to the edge. There we've brought capabilities like full text search embedded into the platform. And then finally, we announced a new cloud product that we call Couchbase Managed Cloud, which is a managed offering that helps customers with the operations of running a database. And we've been able to do that in partnership with Rackspace. So a lot of innovation that we're very proud of. And our measure is, how are our customers being successful? So we've added a lot of exciting new customers across a variety of industries, companies like ANZ Bank and financial services. We've added, believe it or not, the cruise line, Princess Cruise, is really innovating and driving their customer experience. And we continue to take care of existing customers like Tesco and Louis Vuitton and Cisco and many, many other enterprises that we're very proud to call customers. Now, you mentioned Silicon Valley Connect. As a plug for the event that's coming up in mid-September. And what makes us so excited about Connect is it's really where all those things come together. We intend to build the show as one for our customers and for our partners. So we'll talk in more detail about these product releases. We've got some exciting things that we have not talked about publicly that will be available later this year. So it's very worth attending. But what we really try to do is enable our customers to talk to each other, right. Share best practices on how they're using the platform, how they're innovating in their industry, and it becomes a really collaborative experience for our participants that are thinking about how they can change their businesses for the better of their companies.
Right. Sounds like it's going to be a great event. That's awesome. So there's a lot going on. It sounds like one thing that I recently read was Silicon Business Journal also did a profile on you for a social capital column. And there you talked about your 3 guiding principles for leadership. And at the Entrepreneurial Center, we always like to get feedback from leading CEOs like yourself on what are those 3 principles you talked about, and how do you implement that at Couchbase?
Yeah, so as a company, Bruce, we have a model that we use to hold ourselves accountable to drive our best results, and it starts with sustained differentiation. How are we solving really important problems? How are we doing that better than other people? And how are we doing that in service of our customers? We then have to take that to market and ensure that our customers are successful, and we're focused on ensuring that those 2 things are in harmony. But the foundation of everything we do and what we believe drives our success is our world-class teams. And that's a function of having the best people in the industry in our buildings and fostering a culture that allows them to do their best work. So I was very honored to share some of my thoughts on the piece. And the question was posed to me, what are some of the foundational things on how I think about leadership? And what I shared with them is, kind of what I call 3 legs of the stool that have kind of shaped my view of these things. I was raised by 2 parents from the Midwest. My dad grew up on a farm in Kansas, and my mom was born in a small town in Wisconsin called Appleton, which come to find out it's like 7 degrees of separation. Somehow everybody knows somebody from Appleton. But I was, sort of raised with the Midwest values of right is right, wrong is wrong, and you show up and do a great job with people around you, but you also want to contribute to society, in that pursuit. Secondly, as a young child and into my adolescence, team sports were my love, and what I gained an appreciation for was the best teams built a synergy. It was more than just a collection of individuals, right. And it always astonishes me, whether it's a WNBA championship or a relay team in the Olympics in swimming, or maybe the Golden State Warriors at the end of the championship when the champagne is flowing and they say, what made the difference? And it was this collection of people. It was a commitment to a greater good. And I was always inspired by, can you create that and build that proactively, to achieve great things as a team. And then the final thing that I talked about is part of my education was through a Jesuit school, and one of their core mottos is men and women for others, which is another way of saying servant leadership. And anytime I talk to a group of our employees, I don't just see the employees that are sitting there. I see the family members that they are in service of, and the people that their family members are in service of. And so at Couchbase, we're fortunate to have a leadership team that buys into these principles, and we believe, very deeply that we can create a company and a culture that's not just solving, the world's most important data challenges, but is creating a fulfilling workplace, such that we can have a company, for the long run, and one that we're proud of and one that we love to work for.
Yeah, those are great themes, and a lot of those themes we hear from entrepreneurs at the center here. And I know you practice that. I've heard some of the great examples of your leadership team, so that's awesome. You did talk about your customers a little bit, and one interesting customer you have is Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
They're a new customer. Tell us about how you join with them and how they developing the product at Couchbase.
Yeah, it's always an interesting experience as CEO, Bruce, when you hear of one of your salespeople saying, "Hey, I have a hot lead. I need to go spend time with the Cincinnati Reds and enjoy the game experience," which we've had a little fun internally on that. But Cincinnati Reds are a very innovative organization, and one of the things that they're trying to do is create a better experience, for their fans. And I think in the interview you had one of their leaders talk through how they've been using Couchbase to do that. What we've seen in our business, and consistent with this whole concept of digital transformation, is how are companies using technology to get closer to their customers. And as was the case with the Reds and many of our other customers, this whole notion of customer 360 management is really, really critical. Right. So how does an enterprise get a full view of their customer and create customized and unique customer experiences for that person that drives loyalty and additional engagement and positive interaction that brings them back in ways that they otherwise wouldn't. So that solution is one that our customers have continued to use. But as you can imagine, that whole concept of how do you manage massive amounts of data extends well beyond just the customer to company interaction. As an example, you strike me as a man of fashion. I'm sure you do some shopping online and have your favorite retail stores, I would be willing to bet that when you log on, you expect that you have a customized experience, and you are told by the companies that you prefer what's in inventory. Maybe they're recommending things that you may not even realize are on promotion. Well, aggregating all of the data and ensuring that you have real-time inventory and marrying that with an understanding of which customer is engaging, that's really a challenge that brings into not just how am I managing front office, but how am I digitally transforming the back office. And I mentioned Couchbase being an engagement database. In that retail example, you're going to do a lot of shopping, and at some point you're going to hit purchase. That purchase is what we call a transaction. Everything up and before that on the videos and the recommendations and customer reviews are points of interaction between you and the company that you're doing business with. Right. The reality is you need a modern data platform to enable the massive amounts of interactions for every transaction. And in that retail example, there are 1,000 interactions for one transaction. When you start to get into the inventory side of that to deliver goods to your house, you could have up to 100,000 interactions. And so when we talk about the engagement database, what we believe is multiple successful interactions over time lead to better engagement. And that is really the key to companies being successful with digital transformation.
Yeah, and I think that you've proven that the success of that is with Cincinnati Reds or with large corporations that are trying to solve these issues.
Yeah.
So we at Nasdaq look at the whole customer. So we definitely speak what you're speaking. So
and we're enjoying helping you solve some of your data challenges, and I'm excited to continue that relationship.
That's great. That's great. So let's talk a little bit. We always talk about the investors at the center as well. So what are your investors? What do they learn, and what resonates with them when you talk to them about Couchbase, and what are they excited about?
Yeah, so we spend a lot of time with the investment community, and we're very proud of the investors we have in the company. They're literally world-class investors. I think, first and foremost, what they look at is the addressable market. And when you look at databases as a whole, a market that has been well established and of critical importance and arguably the most important layer in the technology stack, believe it or not, that's over a $40 billion market today, which is still enjoying pretty significant growth. Right. If you layer on adjacencies like search and analytics, you can actually double that addressable market. So we're talking about a massive amount of spend. And I'm sure with all the companies that you talk to, there's been massive disruption with cloud and cloud architectures. But the reality is databases have yet to completely transform. And with the advancement of technologies like NoSQL that provide data flexibility and better performance and the ability to manage interactions, you now have a combination of a business dynamic where all organizations are trying to innovate and transform digitally, combined with the technology transformation, and at the center point of that sits Couchbase. So we believe fundamentally that we're in the early innings of databases transforming, and the technology and the platform that we've built is helping customers with that transformation. So when we talk with investors about our differentiated approach and how we've built our architecture for applications within the enterprise that are totally aligned to all of these dynamics and what the business imperatives of large enterprises, that's where our early investors saw that a long time ago, and the rest of the investment community just gets really excited about the prospects there.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a huge market that's growing. So that leads me to my next question. Where do you see Couchbase in the next 2 to 5 years? What's your goals?
Yeah, so I think we're going to continue to innovate relentlessly. We're customer obsessed, and so we're really focused on sitting down with our customers and understanding what are their next generation data management challenges. We see no slowdown of data growth. Right. No slowdown of demands of new applications. We have an architecture that extends from public cloud out to the edge. So we're a distributed data platform, and we're really focused on enabling enterprises with the tools to orchestrate the movement and management of that distributed data platform. So we've got a lot of exciting things on our roadmap, but quite frankly, we aspire to build a company that's around for the long time. So we have plans over the short term, but we think in many years beyond the 3 to 5 year window and are really trying to build the foundation of the next great enterprise software company.
Sounds like you're doing a great job, Matt. So congratulations on your almost second year as CEO.
Yeah, thank
you.
you.
Your recognition recently, and really appreciate you sharing the story of Couchbase and what you guys are up to these days. I'm Bruce Austin, the Vice Chairman of Nasdaq, President of Nasdaq Entrepreneurial Center. Been having a conversation with Matt Cain, who's the CEO of Couchbase. Thanks for joining us.